Hey, Shalom Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Baruch Thumb to the brother Shalom Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilukah Hashem Yahushua to the sisters. This is the ISUPK side of 1 West 125th Street under Harlem, New York. I'm Preaching Officer 500 Iraq out of Las Vegas. And it's stand back to y'all with the Tuesday Brotherhood class right after the Lord's Passover, 55th Lord's Passover. Let's get the Lord a hand. All right. So, as the title says, above or below, today's class is going to be going over understanding brotherhood. So the objective is to give y'all a better idea of what brotherhood is actually supposed to be like. You understand? So a lot of people in the world think that brotherhood is just just a simple camaraderie, right? Where you can find that in hell, you can find that camaraderie in Esau's military, but does that mean that they actually have real brotherhood? And that's what I'm going to go over and explain for y'all to understand in today's class. Lord allow y'all are able to come to that same understanding. You understand? Before we get into the topic, just going to ask that everybody does their part to make sure that they like and share the class on YouTube, the ISU, Las Vegas Israelites on our YouTube. Make sure that you also share, you also subscribe to that YouTube page, and then thumbs up the video, leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Help out the algorithm so we can make sure that we get this word out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell button so that y'all can be up to date on all of our new content. You understand? Our interviews. You know what I mean? Sometimes we'll post like our photos, like a collab photo for everybody to view. It's lucky, right? So make sure that you get in touch with our YouTube, and of course on our Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. You understand? Make sure that you like and share the page there and share the class. All right, I'm just doing that myself, and then we'll get on it. In the meantime, if there's anybody that's online that has any questions, feel free to ask the question in the chat. Or if you're in the room, feel free to answer, raise your hand, and I'll get to you when I can, and I'll answer your questions. Man, I'm all tongue tied today, so I will answer your questions to the best of my ability scripturally. If I'm unable to do so myself, I'll be sure to take your question to a mightier man than myself and get you the answer. You understand? The ISUPK has all of the answers. You understand? We're not going to sit there and act like we know something when we actually don't. We're not like the Christian church, but we do have a way of getting you your answer, and that's what's most important. You understand? Are there any questions in the room? Okay, go ahead.
I got a question about Matthew chapter 12 and verse 43 to 45. I just wanted to get a breakdown on that.
Matthew 12, what?
Verse 43 to 45.
12. Oops. Matthew 12, 33 to 45, you said? 12:33. Okay, go ahead and read it when you got it.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse number 43. When the unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walketh through dry places.
Oh, hold on. So like, what verse? You said Matthew 12 and what?
And 43.
Okay, all right. All right, go ahead. I'm there now.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse number 43. When the unclean spirit is going out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter into and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also into this wicked generation. So my question is this like, for example, like when we finally beat something that we're going through that we're struggling with, and then we can't expect it to just be gone because it can come back, and when it comes back, it's going to come back stronger.
Okay, that's yeah, so lucky. That's one way that you can interpret it, but it does go a little bit deeper than that, because when you summarize those three verses together, right? It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places seeking rest and findeth none. What do you think that unclean spirit is referring? What is that unclean spirit that it's referring
Um, like sin.
Okay, so that spirit on you that you had when you used to celebrate Christmas, not you in
Okay.
particular, but you know what I'm saying? That spirit that a man had that kept him in sin. So yeah, okay. So now, mind you, it says when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, why is it gone out of that man?
Because
Why
because
and how?
he's no longer doing what he was doing. And
But why?
because he understands the law, statutes, and commandments.
So he's in the truth.
Right.
Right? He's following law, statutes, commandments. He's following after the Lord. He's in the ISUPK. That's one way that you want to say it. All right. So, so it says he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. So that spirit is gonna, look for another, basically a replacement home of which it can dwell in and occupy. Right. Then he saith, I return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. So what is that spirit saying though when he returns back to that unclean man?
When he returns to the unclean man, he sees that he's in the right path. He's in the truth. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing.
Right? He's clean. That man is no longer that wicked man. He's clean. He's cleaned himself.
Right.
Right? By following the law, statutes, commandments, like you said. Now reading on, read verse 45.
Verse 45. Then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself.
So now, when this happens, okay, this time that it's referring to, what do you think is happening right here? Explain to me what's happening right now. Do we have honey?
It's like
Just
other
think about how
people.
I just laid it all out for you, and play along with that line, that storyline. I just give me like a bowl. Yeah, to put it in. Think about how the way that I just try to depict that picture, right? Of what is all happening. Now follow it up with verse 45. What do you think is happening right there?
It could be like those other spirits is it could be, close people to you trying to get you to, celebrate these holidays like Thanksgiving or making you feel bad about the situation, so it's coming stronger to you because you feel like it's your family and stuff like that.
No. I mean, the reason why that spirit thinks he can attack you with other spirits, maybe along those lines of what you had said, but to answer my question, no. What you have to pay attention is in verse 43, it basically just lets you know that this man who was once wicked cleaned himself up. Right? Stop being wicked, start following the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay. he casted out that evil spirit of which that was afflicting him. Maybe it was, you know, he had just an ugly spirit that wanted him to be an alcoholic, or, you know, smoke, whether it's tobacco or marijuana, you know, sleep with prostitutes and whores, was addicted to pornography. You understand? A worldly, lustful addiction was what that demon was. Okay?
Cool.
So he casted that. He conquered it. He casted that out. All right? But now, moving down in the timeline, that spirit is basically still trying to do what to that man?
Get him to sin.
Okay, afflict him. So, with that being said, what does that tell you about this scripture? About what we're reading right here? There's two things that you can answer with that I'll take, and I'll just give you the other answer. So you give me one, I'll give you the other.
Coming into this truth, you're going to be afflicted, but you just have to endure.
I mean, that's pretty much what I was going to say from one of them. Yeah. No, I'll take that. Basically, you know, the way I word it, you just worded it differently, is that your afflictions never stop. The temptation from these other demons will never stop. Just because you conquered, I'll use myself for example. Just because I had conquered that demon that afflicted me, where I was addicted to marijuana or smoking tobacco, that demon's not just going to leave. He'll be knocking, tapping. Hey man, you know you kind of want to do that. Where that little urge, where, like, you know, for some people, it's if they smell it, they see it, someone is doing it around them, what have you. Now, of course, with certain afflictions, you know, they're easier to conquer than the next one for one person in particular. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's battle is different. Everybody's journey is different, right? Well, I really don't like using journey right there. That's kind of corny, but you get what I'm saying, right? But now, when we get to this point where that demon, that evil, unclean spirit, goes and finds other spirits more wicked than himself to enter and dwell there. So, in other words, this brother now is falling out of the truth. He's dropping his sword, because how would it be that these where it says, then goeth he and taketh himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. So now that spirit of which he casted out went to go get allies, went to go get help. So you were kind of on it. You just weren't hitting the nail on the head when you were saying, you know, maybe it's your friends and your family, basically, you know, making things more difficult for you to, because now you're trying to kick Christmas and Thanksgiving and whatever else that you used to do with mom, dad, brother, sister, cousins, etc. Right? So now they're gonna try and come after you even, you know, more aggressively. Oh, you're in a cult. You know, there's that. You know what you're doing. Like you've changed. You're not the same person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're talking about. You think you know God because you joined this, you know, this cult Bible group, but you're still wrong. You know what I'm saying? They come after you and they enter and dwell in there. And they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. So in this parable with Yahushua, he's talking about what is going to happen if you clean up your act, if you get yourself clean for the Most High. If you are, in my opinion, dumb enough to drop your sword, the person that you were before you learned of the truth is going to be a better man or woman than you are if you drop your sword. Because now you're gonna indulge in marijuana. Now you're gonna indulge in you know, whatever worldly addictions that you had before you learned about the truth. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we know that what is the Most High going to do to you when you do something knowingly? Man, he's gonna punish you.
Right.
And at that point, especially, let's say you get ordained, and I'm not saying you, and I'm saying you as in a general term. Let's say you get ordained to be a priest and prophet of the Lord, and then you decide, I'm gonna drop my sword, go back to, selling crack, smoking weed, having sex with whores. Man, chances are the next whore that you sleep with is gonna give you herpes simplex. That goddamn marijuana that you're smoking is going to be laced with fentanyl, or when you're selling that crack, somebody's going to pop a cap in your ass because you're not doing, not to be doing this, and you learn to stop doing this and to lean on the Lord, and you made that decision to forsake Him when He bailed you out of all that. Like, you get what I'm saying? So this parable right here, in a nutshell, to shorten it, is basically Yahushua just telling you this is what's gonna happen if you drop your sword. You understand? If you decide to go back into the truth when you know what the truth is.
Right.
Does that make sense?
God.
Most High Christ. Are there any more questions?
God. 1 second.
Okay. It's Salakia. For those y'all, don't forget, this is the week of the unleavened the week of the Feast of the Unleavened Bread. As y'all can see, I've been eating my unleavened bread, dipping it in honey. My rib is a wonderful cook, so it's always an enjoyable time for myself. You understand? But make sure that you're eating your unleavened bread throughout the week up until the closing of the feast. You understand?
Matthew 18:3.
Matthew 18:3. You've been reading a lot of New Testament, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm trying to see, how to move like Christ.
No, I dig it. Well, you know how you learn how to move like Christ? You also learn from the Old Testament. That's where He learned from. But ain't nothing wrong with you doing. I get my New Testament from your New Testament questions. I'm reading the Old Testament right now. All right, start with your question and then go ahead and read it.
So when it says become like little children, it's not. It's telling you to basically, when you learn the truth, everything that you learn, put it away and just start over as a little children. Like how little children.
Are you asking?
I'm asking you. Is that what this is talking about?
Let's go ahead and read it.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 2 or 3, Salakia. And said, "Verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven."
And you're asking, ask your question again.
When it says like you have to become like little children, it's telling you like everything that you ever learned in this world, you need to just drop that. And once you enter into the truth, start soak up game like a little children would.
Exactly. Because you gotta think, when you become a new creature, I don't like saying this term just because of Christianity, but when you are born again, when you become a new creature, you understand, you have to think of yourself as little children, as a babe again. You understand? That's exactly why we have the rank structure that we have in the ISUPK. Of course, it follows after the Bible, of which you can find our rank structure. I believe it's in Exodus, where Moses established it. It's like it. When you come in as a young man, that's why you do your 90-day period of asking all of these questions. Okay, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to do that? And we teach you, we guide you on how you need to start reliving your life. You understand? Where now you're not smoking no more. Now you're not being an alcoholic no more. Now you're not sleeping with whores anymore. You're not watching pornography. Of course, I'm not saying this is what you were doing. Speaking in general, for those of y'all also watching as well, that's not what I'm not airing that brother out because I wouldn't do that. But y'all understand? So now you're relearning not to do that. And once you've shown that, okay, I'm not doing that no more. I've been broken down to a base form of which I can be built up where I'm given responsibilities to show that I can have the responsibility of a responsible man. Well, guess what? That's when you become a trooper. And then you've been given those types of responsibilities where now you're starting to show that you can be a man who can lead and give out orders because you've learned to take orders. You understand? You've learned that game and got further, training on how to be an adult. Well, now you're an officer of 50 because now you're leading. You understand? Right. And of course, as you get higher up in the rank, I mean, you just came back from Durham, North Carolina, from the Lord's 55th Passover. Like, I know you noticed that the higher rank a brother is, whether they're 50, 500, 1,000, 5,000, Captain 10, Captain 13, General, etc., that the higher their rank, the more wisdom that brother has. Right? So, and what is it supposed to be? A good leader is going to have wisdom. You understand? So that's, that basically explains the ranking structure, like why somebody has that rank. And then, of course, answering your question all in one. So, but that's a good question, though. Oh no, go ahead.
I wanted to know if this is a good precept for what we just read in Matthew 18:3. This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 2.
Let me get there. Hold on. You said 1 Peter, right? 1 Peter 2 and 2? All right. Let me get there. For those of y'all that are unfamiliar with the Feast of Unleavened Bread, on how you can eat unleavened bread, because, you got to learn how to cook it and whatnot so you can do it correctly, especially make it so that it tastes good. Doing something as simple as just eating like taco shells or tortilla chips, where it's just the only thing it's made from is flour and water, basically. It's bread without a rising agent. So like yeast, baking soda, baking powder, etc. Understand? Okay. So 1 Peter 2 and 2? Go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse number 2. Mm-hmm. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby.
Okay, so break it down and tell me how that's a precept for what we just read in Matthew.
Because it's telling you that in Matthew, you have to, in order to get the kingdom, you have to be as little children. Mm-hmm. So, and here it's telling you, to be a newborn babe, because we can't go back to being a baby. So it's saying as newborn babes, we have to desire the milk. The milk is the basic things of what the Bible is teaching you. Because a lot of people want to come in and just start learning about the meat, but we have to come in and just learn about the milk of the word so we can grow.
Right. Because naturally the meat will come, eventually the meat of the word will come forth when you are ready to take upon it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just like a baby, you take the milk. So yeah, that is a good precept. So like I'm very immature. I'm a child. All right. Was there any more questions? if it Salakia, just to say it again, if there's anybody that's online that has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. You understand? We do encourage that. You know, y'all ask questions and of course also participate in the class. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if there's anybody that's online, I see we have several people. So Most High in Christ. If you have any questions, post it in the chat so I get to it. And then back to you, young man. Did you have any more questions? That's it. All right, Most High in Christ. All right. So now we're gonna get into my topic, since the young man's not gonna take over my class this time like he did last time with all his questions. I was in this So we're gonna start at the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 of verse 1. So like I said at the beginning of class, we're gonna get an understanding of what brotherhood actually is. You understand? Let me get there myself. And of course, we're going to get that understanding scripturally, right? We know, hey, they try to say that there is brotherhood and Esau's military, and I've been there. And I'm just saying, if you call that homosexual cult a place of, of brotherhood, then you think that brotherhood is about homosexuality. Then I'm sorry, that's the same thing that applies to like those fraternities. Hell, I mean, if you look at a lot of these, these sports teams, whether they're professional, amateur, semi-pro, high school, whatever, just the simple things that they teach y'all. There's no reason for you to be slapping somebody else's, somebody's ass just because they did a good job. You know what I'm saying? That's what you get taught at a very young age when you play these sports, playing like basketball, wrestling, football, etc. You know what I'm saying? The coaches, these are grown ass men, and slapping some little, 8-year-old boy in his ass. Like, you find that that's an excused action just because your son did a good job playing, whatever sport it was. You know what I'm saying? Just think about how do you say, the way that you're training that child up, because and using excuses to justify those actions, how that damages that child. Because now, let's just say, we were to replace that with girls. Now the game is different. So that's to show you that type of brotherhood, that type of camaraderie, for one, is not real camaraderie. It's masked up alternative lifestyle is what that is. You get what I'm saying? It's a process of grooming. You understand? That's not something you should be doing as an adult or a child. You understand? Is touching somebody else's no square in the front or the back. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go through it in the scriptures, what the scriptures say about brotherhood, on how we should conduct ourselves amongst each other. And one thing that you will notice is, for the most part, there is no touching. You know what I'm saying? Like, do we embrace each other out of brotherhood when we give each other a salute, a simple hug? I mean, yeah, but it ain't no hug like how them damn the Roman Catholic priests be hugging their altar boys. You get what I'm saying? It's not the same way that the what do they call when fake Jews, what do they call, rabbis, on what they do to them, to them babies when they circumcise them. I don't know if y'all know this, but part of their brotherhood, their love, of which the what is he called? I just said it too. Rabbi, what he does to that 8-day-old baby after he cuts the foreskin from his penis, he sucks off that baby. That's why they've had a huge flux of, mind you, babies having herpes. because, of how they were conducting themselves, what they were doing, their definition of what brotherhood is. You understand? So let's go ahead and read that when you got it. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1, Baba Kashah.
Con, it's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse number 1. Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Verse 2.
You understand? No, you good right there. We're just starting off with just verse 1. But y'all understand, this is the Lord commanding us to gather ourselves together, O nation not desired. Can you tell me why that last line is so is such a heavy line? Those words are so heavy.
Because we're that nation that's not desired. We're the people that's not loved on this earth.
You're right about that. You're 100% right about that. But what I want you to think about is how nobody else desires us. I mean, of course, they desire our culture, our food, our money, everything that basically profits them. But they don't desire us. Now, what's heavy about this scripture is it's telling us that those that are being, kicked to the curb, man, gather yourselves amongst yourselves and prefer one another. Prefer each other. You that know that nobody else loves you, man, turn to the ones that aren't loved by the world and love each other. You get what I'm saying? Now, what is that in a nutshell?
Brotherhood.
That's brotherhood. You understand? That's sisterhood. You understand what I'm saying? Where you prefer your own. Go ahead and drop that. Go to the book of 1 John, chapter 4 and verse 20. The book of John, chapter 4 and verse 20.
1 John or John?
Huh?
1 John or John?
That's why I said the book of 1 John.
Okay, cool.
The book of 1 John, chapter 4 and verse 20. You go ahead and read it when you got it.
It's the book of 1 John, chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hated his brother, he is a liar.
So now, what is an example of somebody who says that they love God but hates their brother?
Like,
Hey, want some honey?
When you try to deal with your brother and show him this truth, but they treat you in a bad way, like you're doing something wrong, but they say they love God.
Give me a more specific example.
Like if your brother, calls you and he's in need of help, but you ignore him or you don't want to help him at all, it's a burden to you, but you say you love God.
I'll take that example, but let me one up you though, Bubba Kashad. But I'm doing this out of love, not hate, right? Nah, but let me one up you though. What about how the Christian pastors on how they treat their church, their church members? Right. Isn't that hate? But he claims that he loves God. I mean, hell, you've got one mega church pastor who, puts on a purple dress and has a whole sermon about how, he likes to be swallowed. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I can't remember what somebody posted what that sermon's name was. And it was like something about receiving the meat of God. Like it was outrageous. Wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, he set the tone with the doggone, just the title in itself. And then to follow up with, the things that he said in that sermon, let alone what he wore as well. You know what I'm saying? He's just left and right. And then what he also did, he's got those people coming into his church where he passes around that collection plate, not once, to get 10%, like what the law says.
Right.
But he passes it around several times throughout the sermon to collect money from people who need his help to pay for their light bill. But that Christian pastor has them so brainwashed, has them so basically brainwashed and in love with him that he's taking advantage of them and their love by hating them and stealing from them.
Right.
Because what do we know that the tithe money is actually for? What can you tell me what the purpose of tithes actually is?
To help your brothers and sisters in need.
Okay. Yes. How I want to put this? Because you are right. It's to help your brothers and sisters in need. And of course, we're not able to do that without money. You can only do so much with just your hands. You get what I'm saying? With just your works. Oh, well, I should say the money is a part of your works, right? So, and especially in the world of which we live in, and even in the times of which we were in power, currency is a part of, it's a part of life. It's a part of how we conduct trade and do our things, right? So to have a nation, to be part of being a nation is to have money. So you need a treasury, right? So, you do need that money. You have a question? So you do need that money. We all come together to build up that treasury so that, we can help the poor, we can help the needy. And then of course we're able to grow and expand our nation. You understand? Just like that's why the ISUPK, we've got farmland, we've got livestock. You get what I'm saying? That's what our tithing money has been going towards. And then when there are those brothers and sisters in need where, they're basically heating up their houses with the freaking oven on, you know what I'm saying? Those are the ones, we're helping them get out, of that predicament so that we can get their lights back on for them. Or we're putting together food drives, clothing drives. Those things require money.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But that's not, and we're doing those things because we love our people. Not only do we love the Most High, but we love our people. You get what I'm saying? When's the last time that anyone seen TD Jakes go and pass out food and clothes himself? You get what I'm saying? I mean, he loves being on the camera.
Right.
So I mean, why doesn't he put himself on camera passing out food and clothes? Because he doesn't love his brother. You understand? He uses the Lord's name. He uses the Most High and his word to pimp out his own people because he hates his brother and sister. Do you just want to say? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like there was this pastor who was on trial because I think it was like tax evasion or something, and they were going over his purchases of the congregation, and he was.
They were like in a conference room.
I think so, yeah.
And they were going over his receipts of it.
$5,000 worth of
I know you're talking about.
Suits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that, but instead of they won't like I know people who ask churches, for like help with rent money. But instead of them helping them, they'll tell them to either go to welfare or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they won't assist them with rent, but they'll pay for their cars, their homes, and their clothes. So it's crazy, man.
Y'all know, the Mormon Church. The Mormon Church is a multi-billion with a B, a multi-billion dollar. What would you call it? Church industry, religious industry. But you know what's going on with, in the midst of those, billions of dollars that they have collectively. Y'all can just look up the Boy Scout scandal. What's going on, because they're molesting little boys. They're no better than the Roman Catholics. Because you know what, you have this camaraderie to put your money together, but you don't have enough camaraderie and love and brotherhood to not touch somebody else's child, whether it's a boy or a girl.
Right.
But yet you have brotherhood, but yet you love your brother and sister, but yet you follow after the word of the Lord. Come on, go ahead and read on, Salakia.
Come. This is 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he had seen, how can he love God whom he have not seen?
You understand? So if you are doing these things, so in other words, TD Jakes is taking advantage of his people, saying that he loves God and God loves him because he's blessed with all these riches and this, that, and the other. But yet, he's only doing it because he hasn't seen the Lord.
Right.
So because let's be real, all of the things that you do that are unlawful, either unlawful according to the law in the law, statutes, and commandments, or you can even say the law of the land. The only reason why you do something that would break either set laws is why. Who could tell me why? You know it's illegal to sell crack. You know it's illegal to be a homosexual. So that's two different sets of laws. But why is it that people decide to do it? Halak, we're at right now. We're at the first. We are at the first book of John. So 1 John chapter 4, verse 20. That's where we're at.
It's because they don't.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Would it be because you're governed by lust or something like that?
Can you hear her when she talks? Is it loud or is it faint? Or you can hear her clear?
I can hear her clear.
Oh, most high Christ. Okay, but I mean, do you do it because of lust? I mean, of course, yeah. But what I'm asking is when you do something that you know there will be a consequence for, and sometimes that consequence requires your life. So death, you to be put to death. But yet people still do it. Why is that? What is that reason? Go ahead, young man.
Because they don't know God.
Okay, they don't know God, but I need you to also think about the flip side as well, where, okay, they don't know God. That's why they don't follow the laws of the Bible. I understand that. But what about the people who knows the laws of the land, but yet they still sell crack? They still buy prostitutes. Go ahead. No, I mean, okay, you're right. You're both right so far, but there's one thing in particular I need y'all to say. Go ahead, young man. They
don't have no fear.
Okay, I mean, now you're getting a little bit closer to the answer. But think about the example that I just made when I was talking about TD Jakes. Right? When we're talking about that, he hasn't seen God, so that's why, he's basically using the Lord's name, using the Lord's word to pimp out his own people. So why is he doing that? Let me give y'all a few more moments to try to think what the answer is. Then I'll just give y'all the answer. Here, church pork chop, pastor. And watch, it's gonna be one of them answers like I'm gonna tell y'all, and you're just like, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. Go ahead.
They don't care.
You're still in the ballpark. You're in the ballpark with, you said they don't care, and then they have no fear. You're in the ballpark, but not quite hitting it. No, it is not Antichrist. That's not the reason why. It's a lot simpler than that. It's a whole lot simpler. They don't practice. Go ahead, young man.
They don't love their brother.
Of course, they don't love their brother. I'm gonna give y'all the answer, right? It's because they don't believe they're gonna get caught. That's why. If you thought that you could sell crack and not have to pay the consequences, whether prison time, a fine, hell, even the Lord dealing with you, if you really believed in your heart that you wouldn't have to pay the time for that, deal with those consequences, you do it. But there's a reason why you don't do these things. There's a reason why you follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Because you believe that if I don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, what's going to happen? Well, the law is going to come down on you. There will be consequences. You may be put to death. You may have to pay this fee. You may have to, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be consequences. Does that make sense?
Carl.
So TD Jakes doesn't believe he's going to get caught. He doesn't believe that the Lord and his angels are watching him, taking note of him pimping out his, the Lord's word for his own personal financial benefit.
God.
He doesn't think he's going to have to pay for that. He just thinks he just gets paid, and he's not going to have to pay. That's what it is. So they teach in the school and push it in the music and media. Now, of course, again, Officer Zarai, that's a correct answer. That's just not, the fundamental answer as to why, people do the things that they do when they know they shouldn't, when they know that they'll get caught. Because it's just like this. Think about like them times that you was in the world. You might have had a buddy or two, or maybe it was your whole crew. You know what I'm saying? Just think about when you had them buddies that were just awesome. Like, yo, I got a foolproof plan for us to, we can sell this dope. We can do this, do that. We never gonna get caught. And we gonna bring in buku butts. You know what I'm saying? Just think about how many times those words came out of somebody's mouth on the four corners of the earth, but they got put behind bars or got put in the ground 6 feet under. I mean, everybody say, you see it in the movies, the TV shows and all of that. Whenever there's that big brother who's just like, yo, you gotta, you need to get out the game. Like you've already won. Like, man, get out when you're ahead type thing, right? Because what is their reasoning? Because you're not gonna get out of this game alive. This is not something you do for your whole life. You're lucky you survived this long. You lucky that you made as much as you did. So get out while you're ahead. And quite frankly, as long as you still have your life, you are ahead. Because at any given time, just like what I had said earlier, the Lord can send somebody while you working, you on that corner trying to, sling that dope or what, do whatever manner of wickedness at any given time. The Lord can, will have somebody sent to bust the cat in your ass. You get what I'm saying?
God.
All right. So do we got to understand in 1 John chapter 4 and verse 20 on how, and of course, I mean in how it pertains to the topic?
God.
Most High in Christ. Let's drop that. Go to the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 15.
It's the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse number 15.
Mm-hmm.
Whosoever hated his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him.
Why is it that somebody who hates his brother is a murderer? Tell me, is this a direct precept for something like the Cain and Abel story? Go back around. Go back around. Go. Now. Go. Is this a direct precept for Cain and Abel, or why is this being said? Go ahead, young man.
Because Cain definitely hated his brother, and he hated him so much that he ended up killing him. So I would say this is perfect for that because, by you hating your brother, you can do something stupid to your brother.
You give me some more water, bubble, sure. Thank you. Okay, so then, but we just came to the conclusion that TD Jakes hates his brothers and sisters. Who has he murdered?
Nobody.
But so, how does this pertain to TD Jakes, or does it pertain to TD Jakes? Wow.
I would say Khan.
Okay, so then how?
Because he doesn't care of telling them the truth. He knowing that the Most High God, how he can do whatever he pleases to you if you break his commandments. He chooses to not teach the commandments, but just take tithes and lie to the children of Israel.
So how is that killing them? How is that making him a murderer?
Because he didn't warn the people.
Okay. Give me a precept. Give me that precept. Because I think I know where you're going, but at this point, I just want you to pull it.
God.
Hey, shalom, Yahweh Shemar Elatha Ba'Shem Yahushai, sis. It's good to see you in class.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, and verse number 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Mm-hmm. Therefore, hear the words at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speaketh to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand.
Excellent. That's exactly where I wanted you to go. So TD Jakes, or any brother that knows better, that doesn't say anything to his brother, that, hey, man, whatever wickedness that you're doing, the Lord is going to require blood. Is going to require your blood due to your disobedience. You understand? If I don't give that brother that warning, his blood is on my hands. Now just think about how much blood TD Jakes' hands is covered in. You understand? And the brother had a good one. He said, leading their souls astray from a position of leadership. You understand? That's a good answer as well, right? You're leading them away. You're sending them to their death. You understand? And of course, like what we just went over, man, if you don't love your brother, then you're a murderer. Now, so what is the opposite? If you love your brother, you will see to it that he lives a long and prosperous life. You get what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. Salaki, sir, it is because in his mind he already killing the spirit of brotherhood to draw him near the truth. It's because in his mind he already killing the spirit of brotherhood. Are you talking? Salaki says, are you talking about TD Jakes right there? Are you referring to TD Jakes, that TD Jakes is in his mind already killing the spirit of brotherhood? I need you to kind of elaborate on that. Like, what do you mean? He's already killing the spirit of brotherhood to draw him near the truth. Oh, okay. All right. I had to say that a couple of times. I'm a little slow. I never said that I was, someone like Einstein. Okay. No, you're right. That the Most High would be using TD Jakes to, even though he's killing that spirit of brotherhood, he's still also using TD Jakes to bring us back home. Because just think about it. You can't sit here and tell me that this mega church, man, there's so many damn terms you can use for that weirdo. But where he puts on a purple dress and he freaking talks about being swallowed is not going to be used as an example as to why you shouldn't be in his church, why you shouldn't be in a Christian church in general. Because you know what? Of all the places of which you can take, how I say this, religious, spiritual refuge, right? Of course, we're not religious in the ISUPK, but the point is where you to take refuge of where you place your faith. There's only one place on the face of this earth that does not have not a conspiracy. What's the word I want to use? I keep wanting to say conspiracy. See, I told you I wasn't no Einstein, man. I can't even think of the freaking word. Where basically there's allegations about somebody doing something that goes totally against the Bible. Controversy. There you go. There's only one place on the face of the earth where there isn't a controversy going against, said group, said practice, and that's in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana. Of course, you have people who try to claim that, oh, this happened, that happened in that school, this, that, and the other. But what's crazy is of all the abuse and just the negative, wicked things that they say that goes on in the ISUPK. How come every time that we go to court, we're proven innocent? Commander General Yohana has literally gone to court several times. And this is part of the reason why we say that the ISUPK is undefeated, because we cannot be prosecuted for something we did not do. We are faultless, just like what the scripture says for us to be. You get what I'm saying? But yet you've got all these controversies and all these other, there's what do they say? There's thousands of religious practices, and you're gonna tell me that yours is the correct one. Yeah. Because you know what? We're the only ones who aren't fondling little boys and little girls. Like you got the Dalai Lama out there in Asia on the Eastern Hemisphere. You got the freaking, we already know about the African booty scratchers. They've been, alternative lifestyle people since ancient Egypt. It's all throughout our text on just how disgusting they are. You get what I'm saying? And they damn near, they relish in it with their hieroglyphs. You know what I'm saying? Like, have y'all seen the depiction of Geb creating the earth, where he's like 69ing with somebody else, where they got their rods in each other's faces. Like come on now. You know what I'm saying? And this is what you call the truth, what is going to save blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans from the things that inflict us on a day-to-day basis, is by following after these alternative lifestyle traditions. Just a quick little sidebar. Like, y'all know that the ancient Egyptians believed that for someone to qualify to be one of their high priests is for them to be bisexual, because it's basically they're able to walk in between both realms, because the alternative lifestyle is connected to the spirit world on some level. But you believe in it. You Like, come on, man. Like, so like, y'all hear how ridiculous that is? That type of controversy, and we all know that. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, you never have a straight person who touches a child. Someone who actually follows after the law, statutes, commandments. You will never find one of them being convicted of touching a child. You know why? It's simple. For one, they're straight. They like adults of the opposing gender, like you're supposed to. And two, they're following after the law. If they follow after the law, there will be no controversy that they're, you know what I'm saying? That maybe they're doing this. Maybe they're doing that. No, you know. And that's only found in the ISUPK, where under Commander General Yohana, where when we say that we do something a certain way, that's exactly what it is. You don't find that anywhere else. One place on the face of the earth, one truth. That's it. You understand? That's why getting an understanding of this brotherhood is so doggone important. And of course, the reason why I picked this topic, the Tuesday brotherhood class right after Passover, who committed the ultimate brotherhood sacrifice? Or not? Yeah. Who? You look like you know. Who do you think? You know, and I know you know, and I know you know I know you know. So tell me what you know. Right as I don't be afraid to be wrong. Who do you think it is? Who do you think was the ultimate brother? Who? No. No sweat. Go ahead, young man.
Hamashiach, Christ. Yahweh.
Yahweh. You understand? He made that ultimate sacrifice of brotherhood, where he died for his people. An innocent man died for his people. You understand? He loves his people. Not only was he out there on the streets warning his people of what is to come, how they are to move. You understand? How to actually follow after the Lord. But in the end, he gave his life as an innocent man because he had that type of love for the Most High and for the people, for his people. All right, let's go ahead and drop that. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 22.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse number 22.
Mm-hmm.
But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in the danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, Thou fool, shall be in the danger of hellfire.
Now break that down for me, young man.
So if you're, mad at your brother for no reason, and you're always got something to say about him, and he ain't do nothing wrong, you're in danger. You're not showing any brotherhood at all. Because if anything, if you do have a problem with your brother, you're supposed to go to him. You're not supposed to be, feeling no type of way. You're not supposed to be holding no grudges.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Do you have the Zondervans with you?
I can go grab it. It's downstairs.
You know what? Make sure that you have it with you next class. All right.
Okay.
So don't worry about it. Because I can't remember off the top of my head what rakah means. Oh, actually, no, I have the blue letter. Lock it. Here we go. All right, where is this? Matthew 5:22 still. You know? So let's see what rakah means. Rakah. Rakah. Here we go. So it says empty, a senseless, empty-headed man, a term of reproach used among the Jews in the time of Christ. So empty, senseless, empty-headed man. So what do you think? What's another term for rakah off of that definition? What does rakah mean?
Like a stupid man.
Yeah, so if you're calling someone stupid and dumb and someone, you know, who has no sense, you're in danger of the council, right? But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. So, in other words, when it's talking about the part where, you know, this last line about somebody calling someone else a fool, what do you think Yahushua right here is referring to? In what instance should you not be calling somebody a fool?
Oh, like when you're in your anger about what your brother, when like you're mad and you're talking foolish about your brother.
Okay, I mean, you're not wrong, but that's not where I wanted you to go with that. Just think of the context right here of what's already being read in this verse, right? So obviously, for no reason, you're not allowed to be wrong, or you're not allowed to be mad. You can't be upset with your brother for no reason,
right?
And then, of course, you know, it's we're also not allowed to be you know, to call our brother, you know, empty-headed or dumb. And then, of course, now it's saying if you were to call them a fool,
isn't that kind of like the same as empty-headed?
Okay. Like, okay, you're right to an extent. Being called a fool and being empty-headed, because you got to think like you're a fool if you believe in what you believe in, and then, you know, because of reasonings that you're able to say like, okay, hey, these are my reasonings, but like they're flawed. Someone who's empty-headed would be more so of like who would follow something blindly. Does that make sense? All right. So even though I almost said the same thing, they're synonyms for each other, but it's not the same. It's same. They're still different, but they're still same. But they're mostly different. Does that make sense? So, but in what instance is in reality, actually, this whole thing, there's a particular instance for all of this that you shouldn't be calling your brother. You shouldn't be upset with your brother. You shouldn't call him empty-headed. You shouldn't call him a cock, or you shouldn't, you know, call him a fool. How about this? Do you think that this applies to us? Do any of these three that Yahushua just named off? So being wrongfully angry with your brother, calling your brother, referring to him as Rakah, or referring to him as being foolish. Does that apply for us to say that to the Lavender lads? Does that apply? Okay, sis, I understand what you're saying. All right, but now I want you to reconsider your answer with what I just said, because from what the brother had precept earlier about how you can't be upset with your brother. I see. You can't be upset with your brother because part of the law is for us to go to our brother and him alone if we have an ought with him, right? We have that understanding. But mind you, this is referring to you're just mad at him. So you don't even have anything to say to him if you were to pull him to the side because it's BS, right? And mind you, if you actually had love for him, your brother or your sister, because mind you, brotherhood is applied to the sisters as well. It's just sisterhood. It's a general term, though. We use brotherhood. If you did have that brotherhood, you'd go to them alone, them to them and them alone, right? So how does this apply when we're dealing with the Lavender lads? When we're dealing with Elder Nathaniel and or not Elder Nathaniel, Nasty Nate and his little Christian congregation in purple. Or does this apply? I'm sorry. Are we in danger of the council? Are we in danger of hell? Are we in danger of the judgment? Are we? Okay, but why? Huh?
Is it because they are wrong?
Okay, so there is a reason for us to be upset with them. Okay, but what about us, referring to them as Rakah, saying like you guys are dumb. Y'all are following after something and you don't even know what the hell you're following after.
But isn't that true?
Huh?
It's true though. So it's not like you're lying, and I don't know. It's not like you're making a false statement.
Right.
Because they don't follow the truth.
Okay. So the first two, we have reasons to say that. Now, what about calling them a fool? Because the only thing it says is, but whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. Should we not be calling them fools? They are. But why would it be okay for us to label them as a fool though? Okay, so now you're walking into the ballpark. So because of their actions. But what in particular about their actions is what makes them into fools? They're not following the laws. They're not following Yahushua. They are fools because, like I said, they think that they have the truth, and these are all their reasonings. But you don't even understand the reason. You're a fool. It contradicts itself. So, who is Yahushua referring to when he says, if you are upset with your brother for no reason, you're in danger of the judgment. If you call your brother a call, you are in danger of the council, or you call your brother a fool, you are in danger of the hellfire. Who is he referring to? The brother's in the truth. the brother's in the truth. Because, like, also think of it like this, right? So, just to paraphrase it, because the young man brought this out about, if to be upset with your brother for no reason, and you get the judgment, right? Of course, we know that we can use that law where, Yahushua told us, go to that brother, him and him alone. And if he hears you, you have gained your brother. We can use this, and you should use this with, the people that you deal with in the world. You understand? Because quite frankly, you may gain your brother. You may gain that brother or sister, like, into the school. You know what I'm saying? Because of your act of brotherhood, your act of sisterhood. It's like, damn, man, like, where'd that come from? I didn't know you got down like that. Like, you offended me. But the way that you kept this nonsense between us and wooty woo, like, and then apologize and just, like, got the understanding, like, man, where you learn that from? You know what I'm saying? But then it also says that if they don't hear you, go get you a witness. So basically, go get you a priest and y'all hash this out together. See, now it starts to almost fall apart when you're dealing with people in the world. You get what I'm saying? When you're dealing with people in the world, because, you want to resolve this issue with that priest, or so like with that brother, with that sister, but not all the time are they going to be willing to listen to, or actually talk to some stranger. But hey, maybe they will. But then this is where it completely falls apart when you deal with somebody in the world, because it continues to say, so if they don't want to listen to the 2 or 3 witnesses, then you take this to the congregation. So we would take it to the generals. So now we're adding on to another set of ears of which this person doesn't even care about in the first place, right? So now the consequence of them not listening to the congregation or the generals is now the people will view that brother or sister as a publican and a heathen. So in other words, how is that how would that actually apply to somebody in the world? Same thing with this parable as well. You get what I'm saying? Somebody that is decided to take up arms to be side by side with you. No, man, if you want to be angry at them for no reason, you are in danger of the judgment. You understand? If you decide that you want to, refer to them as dumb for what? Because they're in the truth, you are in danger of the council. If you want to refer to them as a foolish, for what? What are they doing that is foolish? Because at the end of the day, what are you supposed to do? Go back to that precept. You did something wrong, or they offended you, either way, it goes back to that precept. You need to go to them and them alone. Y'all understand?
Now,
if there's any questions, let me know. Hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ. Officer Bakar, good to see you in the class, sir. All right. So if there's no questions, let's go ahead and drop that and go to, oh, wow. Wasn't this your question? Matthew 18 and 15? Oh, no, but this was your precept, Salakia. Go ahead and read it when you got it, Baba. You said.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse number 15.
Yeah, 15. There you go.
Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
All right. That's very simple, man. If somebody offends you, somebody trespasses against you, somebody that does something to you where, and it doesn't matter, if you feel like you're overreacting, man, if that's the case, like if somebody hurts your feelings, you understand? However you want to put it, this is what you do. You understand? Go let that brother know. Like, yo, man, them jokes that you was cracking, or the fact that you did this, the fact that you did that, like, man, let me pull you to the side and talk to you, because that kind of, that offended me. I didn't like how you did that. I'm not very big on, going back and forth with jokes or being, the butt end of a joke. You know what I'm saying? Go let that brother know. Go let that sister know that they did something that upset you. And of course, if that sister hears you, you will gain that brother, because now they know how to act accordingly with you. And there should be no animosity after, like, oh, come on, man, like, you being weak. Or, oh, come on, man, it was just a joke. No, you need to shut the hell up and just understand it. They don't play that. It is not about having an argument of, of being right and wrong in this situation. What this situation is about is making things right with somebody that was offended. You understand? So if you offended them, oh, hey, you know what? My bad. I thought you was cool with it. Like, you was slick kind of laughing too, but like, hey, I won't do it no more. Like, Salaki. And now that brother or sister knows that they can go to you about, whatever. If there is an issue, there's they know that they can go to you, they can talk to you. You get what I'm saying? You've gained a brother where now y'all also understand each other even more. You understand? And of course, naturally as well, let's just say a couple weeks go by, a couple months go by or whatever, you got a new brother that come in and tries to do what you did to that brother or sister. No. Hey, man, like chill out with all that. Like, like the brother don't like hearing that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or you just nip it in the butt right there. Like, like we ain't doing that. And just leave it at that. It doesn't even have to, you shouldn't even go to explain it anyways, because that conversation that you had with that brother or sister where they went to you to tell you, hey, man, like, I did not like that. That was your conversation in private. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
Verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
And that's very cut and dry. If that brother or sister doesn't want to hear you when you went to them to let them know, like, yo, you offended me, and they just on some like, man, you being soft, like stop all that. Like, okay. Or I didn't mean it like that. So you need, you need to just be soft, or you need to stop like tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, no sweat. You still offended me. So I'm gonna take this to counsel. You understand? Like, all right. So those 2 or 3, witnesses, now they're gonna listen to both sides of the story and record every word so that every word can be interpreted. So then that way, like, we can come to a decision like, yo, you was wrong for that. You need to just go ahead and apologize. Or, hey, I think you actually did take this the wrong way. You understand? But go ahead, go on.
Verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
You understand? So if you didn't want to listen to the council, all right, fine. All right, I guess we're taking it to the generals then. They'll make the decision. And if y'all don't want to listen to the generals, you can't go any higher. We're going to the very, very top of wisdom. And you don't want to listen to. And mind you, this is about making things right with your brother, making things right with your sister. You always got to remember that you're not going to like everything you're going to do that is right. You understand? There's always going to be something that all right, I got to do this. I really don't want to do it, but I got to do it. That happens in these councils. When you have to make something right, you may not like it, but it's not about what you like. It's about you making things right. You understand? With your brother or sister. That's what's important. Not how the hell you feel about, how you should make it right. No. And technically, y'all had that opportunity to make things, to decide amongst yourselves how to make it right in the first place when you went to that brother or that brother went to you alone. You understand? It was just the two of y'all. You could have just been like, okay, you know what? Hey, Salaki, what can I do to make this right? Can you just not say that no more? Can I just not be the butt end of the joke no more? Can we just do, X, Y, and Z? Okay, hey, you know what? If that'll make you feel better, like, yeah. If that's all that's required, then yes. But you know what? There's people who want to be stiff-necked and pig-headed and just fight against it. I just have to be right about everything. They're not allowed to be convicted of something. So what do? They argue. No, I'm right. No, I'm right. Shut up. I don't care what you think. You're taking this too seriously. And so now it goes all the way up to the congregation. And of course, like I said, man, and that's an issue with our people, where they are just so doggone pig-headed stubborn that when everybody says that they're wrong, no, I'm not. You're wrong. Okay, hey, you know what? That's the council then. That's it. You are now, read the last line.
God. It says, let him be unto them as a heathen man and a publican.
So, in other words, you can be the blood of Israel. You can be an Israelite. But if you don't want to abide by our rules, our culture, our way, which part of that is you make things right with your brother and sister. You cannot be in the nation of Israel. You cannot be a part of Yasha Allah if you cannot have brotherhood in you, if you cannot have sisterhood. You understand? If you cannot follow after the council, if you cannot follow after the law, statutes, and commandments, so fine. Then we will not view you as one of our own. You are not Yasha Allah. You are not Israel. You are just like these goddamn Romans. So be gone. Go do what you're gonna do. In fact, you are right. You are right. You were right. So now go live amongst the Romans. Be like the Romans. But just remember, you are drinking of their cup as well, and you will partake in their consequences of their sins. Because your pride, just like Esau, is more important than loving your brother. So, hey, I'm not even gonna say, Lord be with you. Just hurry up, get your shit and get out. Go. You understand? Because you have no brotherhood for anybody. I've got more important things to do with my people than someone who doesn't even want to be my people. Because you're more worried about being right. All right? Drop that and go down to verse 21.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse number 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me? And I forgive him? Till 7 times?
Go ahead.
Yahushua said unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
So how many times? 70 times 7. So what is that? That's 2 zeros. So that's 4,900, right? Mm-hmm. So 4,900 times. Are you supposed to count to 4,900? Are you sure? Isn't that what Christ just said right here?
He's just telling you to always forgive your brother.
Man, yeah. Why are you even keeping count? Why are you even trying to keep track, dude? You worried about forgiving them 7 times. So Yahushua is basically saying, responded back to Peter, and he's like, nigga, you over here trying to create a tally system of how many times a brother had offended you? so that you can what? Cut him off and stop being a brother to him? But yet, if he offends you and apologizes and goes to make these things right all 7 times, are you still not going to forgive him? You think that's what I'm trying to teach? You think that's what Yahushua is trying to teach? No, Yahushua, he corrected Peter. Like, this wasn't no, what the, why are you trying to create some sort of tally system? Like, no, you keep on forgiving him every goddamn time. And in fact, hey, you know what? At this point, you know what? Because I heard, I think it was General Hyman, right? Somebody asked about this this verse to be broken down a while back, and like he was going in explaining it, and he was just like, you know what? Go ahead. I want you to go ahead and just make a tally every single time. Keep count that every single time that each brother, each sister offends you, and once you get the 4,900, then okay, fine. You don't have to forgive them no more. But just think about how effing ridiculous that is. Because what, you think that there's only going to be one person throughout your entire life that offends you?
It's going to be plenty.
That's, come on, that's outrageous. That is outrageous. You understand? But it is very important for us to know and understand as well that, like, yo, we have to have that type of brotherhood, that type of sisterhood, to be prepared to forgive our brothers and sisters as many times as it is required, so that they can get themselves right. But who can tell me why though?
Because
No, go ahead. You good?
Because like you were saying, we are all still working on ourselves to be better for our brothers. So we may slip up. We may do something to offend our brothers and not even realize it. So when you do come to us, hope you accept that apology, because at the end of the day, that's what brotherhood is. Being there for each other and accepting each other and not holding grudges against each other, and truly being there for one another. But if you hold that in and you just let those things sit in you, it's gonna be bad for everybody.
Okay, you're right. You're not right there yet, but you are right, because there's a bigger reason than just us getting just forgiving each other. You know what I'm saying? There's a much bigger reason. Think about the sacrifice that Yahushua made, knowing that, look, Yahushua still hasn't returned. And why? Because we haven't gotten ourselves together. So in other words, think about how many lifetimes you possibly could have had where it says 3 to 4 generations, give or take, is when we return to the earth. So from 2,000 years ago, technically a generation is give or take 20 years before the next generation comes, give or take, right? Roughly 20 years. So you're talking about every 60 to 80 years you return from year 1 AD. And what year are we in? Oh, 2024? Last I checked, Yahushua Mashiach hasn't returned yet. How many freaking times do you think that Yahushua had to forgive us of our downfalls while he's been waiting to return? Because you really think that he wants to just stay right there at the right hand, just sitting at the right hand of the Most High? Probably it might be dope as hell sitting right there, but you get what I'm saying? He wants to return to be with his people. You understand? Yahushua Mashiach loves his people. He does not want us in this condition no more. We are keeping ourselves in our condition. One thing that Christianity has brainwashed our people into believing and thinking is that we are waiting for Yahushua Mashiach, when in reality, the Most High and Yahushua are waiting for us. And in that time of which they are waiting for us, to get ourselves together so that we can inherit the kingdom of heaven, they're forgiving us almost every doggone day, thousands of times, as an individual and as a nation. You understand? So if we can't have that type of brotherhood for each other, what did Yahushua say? And we're just gonna paraphrase it because we're actually gonna end it here, and we'll pick up tomorrow where we left off. But so like, yeah, oh damn, I lost my doggone train of thought. Where when Yahushua said that to be ye perfect, like the Most High, just paraphrasing, but to be ye perfect, right? And then, of course, that we need to love each other like we love ourselves. We need to be prepared to forgive each other. We need, think about the scriptures that we just read. Man, listen, if you can't forgive your brother, it's because you don't even know how to forgive yourself. You hate your brother because you hate yourself. You understand? You hate yourself, and you also hate the Most High. You can't forgive yourself, and you probably can't even forgive the Most High. You can't, because you probably sit there in your bed crying yourself to sleep like a 5-year-old girl, pleading with the Lord, "Why me, Lord? Why me, God? Why do I have to go through this?" Like there isn't somebody else going through something even worse than what you're going through. You're just being weak. You're being weak with hating and unforgiving yourself and your people. You understand? So we're gonna tomorrow we'll pick up at the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 40. I want you to write that down, Baba Kasha. Book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 40. Let me get these announcements. Salakia. All right, these are the security announcements. All right. ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, can be found in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and also the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Maishara, which means tenth in the Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, it's a free will offering for priests. It's not mandatory and can be whatsoever amount you would like. Right now, we are currently observing the Feast of Unleavened Bread, since we just had the Passover on April 20th. So if you are unsure about how to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, be sure to reach out to your respected camp leaders or man above you. You understand? And then if anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, they need to start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. So, Mena Israel, I Majum. Mena Israel, I Majum Shabbat. I Majum, Barak, Yahaba, Shim Yahushai, Barakatham. All right. And with that, class dismissed.